Namaste viewers from all over the world. Welcome to this Global Oneness Festival to celebrate the life and works of Jagadguru Bhagavadpada Adi Shankaracharya. Today's morning session, we are going to hear a talk on Turiya in Mandukya Upanishad from Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati ji. I will chant a Shanti Path and couple of verses, and thereafter I will give the brief introduction to Swamiji, and thereafter request Swamiji to start his talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru-Parampara. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Kinjotistava Manumana Anime Ratrau Pradipadikam Syadevam Ravideepa Darshana Vidau Kinjotirakhyahi me Chakshustasya Nimilanadi Samaye Kindhir Diyo Darshane Kintatrahamato Bhavan Paramakam Jyotistadasmi Prabhu Na Nirodho Na Chotpattir Na Baddho Na Chasadhakaha Na Mukshur Na Vai Mukta Yesha Paramarthata. Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati ji is a master of Advaita Vedanta and the disciple of Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji and Swami Paramananda Bharati ji. He was born in Mumbai and grew up strongly influenced by the lives and teaching of many saints. It was while studying for his master's degree in geology that he developed the interest in studying scriptures. After completing the traditional course in Vedanta at Sandipani's Sadhanalaya, Mumbai, he served in Chinmay Mission, teaching this ancient wisdom at various centers of the mission in India and abroad for 33 long years. Since July 2019, he is working independently and not associated with any organization from Delhi, guiding seekers in the spiritual pursuit. People like his satsanga, because he demystifies this knowledge and presents it in very simple and rational manner. His knowledge is very vast. All those interact with him, be they the students, householders, professionals, or corporate leaders, are attracted to his subtlety of thought and his vast experience in sharing the ancient wisdom. A true teacher, he always is available to any questions put to him from any age group or background. Swamiji has been a regular participant at interfaith panel discussions in and outside Delhi and abroad. He was invited to a prestigious World Economic Forum at Davos in 2011 and to the Indian Economic Summit in Mumbai. Also in the same year, he was also invited to White House in 2015 by the US Department of Education Center for the 5th Annual President's Interfaith Community Service Campus Challenge. The program was initiated by US President Barack Obama to build the understanding between different faiths. He participated in an international conference on hospitality in Anatolian and Asian cultures at Bangkok, Thailand in April 2014. His video talks on Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and Prakarana Granthas are available on his YouTube channel. His regular classes happen on Facebook Live. Presently, he is giving the discourse on Upanishads on his Facebook page live. Swamiji has kindly agreed to take on few questions after the talk. Viewers are kindly requested to type their questions in question box. After the talk, Swamiji will reply those questions. Over to you, Honorable Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Thank you. We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Shri Mahadevaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahadurgaye Namaha. Om Shri Ram Ramaya Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakrita Vande Bhagavanta Punah Punah Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagini Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shankaram Paramanandam Brahmanishtam Yatishwaram Bhashya Bhrantiharam Vande Shuddhatnyanekabodhakam Om Bhadram Karni Vishrunayama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagam Sastamobihi Veshema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastaksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Om Namah Shivaya 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 Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadev Hari Om Hari Om. The topic for today's talk is Turiya as per Mandukya Upanishad. As you all know, there are many Upanishads which convey the knowledge of that supreme reality Brahma. And out of many of them, Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya Ji has written Bhashya on 10 main Upanishads. Ishakena Katha Prashnamunda Mandukya Tittirihi Aitariyancha Chandogyam Brihadaranyakam Tatha. And in this 10 Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad plays a very important role. In Muktika Upanishad, it is mentioned that Mandukya meva alam mumukshunam vimuktaye. For mumukshus, those who want to become free of this samsara, the study and the blessings of Mandukya Upanishad itself is enough. Mandukya Upanishad is one of the shortest Upanishad, but is very deep and very sublime. There are only 12 mantras are there in Mandukya Upanishad, but all these mantras are very sublime. And Bhagavan Shankaracharya's grand guru, Gaudapada Acharya ji, has written a commentary, you can say, it is called Karika, on this Upanishad, which runs into 4 chapters. And Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, who has written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, on Brahma Sutras, on the other Upanishads, but here he has written commentary on the Karikas along with the 12 mantras of this Upanishad. So from that we understand the importance of this Upanishad, as well as the importance of Gaudapada Acharya's Karikas. We will briefly see the introduction to this Upanishad, because without which we will not be able to really comprehend the message of this Upanishad and understand the main theme of this Upanishad, which is to reveal that Brahma, which is also indicated as Turiya Atma. So Shankaracharya ji, in his Bhashya on this Upanishad, he writes in the beginning itself, कि वेदांत अर्थ सार संग्रह भूतम इदम प्रकरण चतुष्टयम ओम इति एतद अक्षरम इत्यादि आरभ्यते. That this prakarana chatushtayam, the 4 prakaranas of this Mandukya Upanishad, written by Gaudapada Acharya ji. The first prakarana is called Agama Prakarana. Then we have the Vaitatya Prakarana, Advaita Prakarana, and Alap Shanti Prakarana. Shankaracharya ji writes, all these prakaranas, they convey the very essence of the teachings of Upanishad. Vedanta Artha Sara Sangraha Bhutam Idam Prakarana Chatushtayam, which begins with the mantra Om Iti Etadaksharamidam Sarvam. So whatever the Anubandha Chatushtaya is presented for the Upanishad is also true for this Prakarana Chatushtayam, these 4 Prakaranas. So Anubandha Chatushtaya is mentioned in our before we study any important grantha, the Adhikari, Vishaya, Sambandha, Prayojan. So Adhikaris are those who are qualified, having that Vivek, Vairagya, etc., and have intense desire for moksha. The main topic, Vishaya of this Prakarana is Brahma Vidya, and by gaining that Brahma Vidya, by the knowledge of that Brahma Vidya itself, one attains moksha. And the prayojan is to attain this moksha. Shankaracharya ji writes in his Bhashya about this Prayojanam. He says, Kim punaha tat prayojanam iti uchyate, that what is the prayojan of this Prakarana Grantha or this Mandukya Upanishad along with the Karikas? What exactly is the prayojan? So he says, Rogartasya iva roga nivritta swasthata. He says, just as a sick person, when his sickness gets dispelled, is removed, he regains his health. In the same way, this prakarana is meant to remove all that causes sorrow for us. He says, Tatha dukkhatmakasya atmanaha dvaita prapancha upashame swastata. That we experience sorrow in this world. We as the jiva, when we live in this world, we strive to attain our fulfilling, we strive to fulfill our desires. We put forth a lot of effort, but always we experience different types of sufferings only. We never become free of our suffering with all our worldly efforts. Even after acquiring a lot of wealth, a lot of power, position, we continue to experience a lot of sorrow. And that sorrow is like a sickness only, which we have to eliminate. So Bhagavan says that the only way which we can remove this suffering which we are having is by dissolving this Dvaita Prapancha. He says, Tatha dukkhatmakasya atmanaha Dvaita Prapancha upashame swastata. That when we eliminate this Dvaita Prapancha, then we will regain our health. We will regain our own Swarupa. So what is this Dvaita Prapancha which Bhagavan is talking about? And how it is eliminated through the study of the Shastras, that also he will reveal. See, it is, and when this Dvaita Prapancha is eliminated, what will we attain? He says, Advaita Bhava Prayojanam. We will attain that Advaita Bhava, that Swarupa of oneness. We will gain that, what you call, that supreme solitude, Kaivalya Avastha. So what exactly is this Dvaita Prapancha? That we have to understand in order to really appreciate what the Upanishads convey. See, Dvaita means the duality. Means the notion that I am different and this world is different from me. I am the experiencer of the world. I am the seer of this world. I am the knower of this world. I perform actions in this world. I experience different joys and sorrows in this world. So I am an entity, and other than me, this world is there in which I am living, with which I am interacting. So this understanding or this notion which I have is called Dvaita Prapancha. Dvaita Prapancha doesn't mean only the world. Dvaita Prapancha includes me also. So this Dvaita Prapancha is false, is wrong. Shankaracharya writes further, Dvaita Prapanchasya avidya kritatva. This Dvaita Prapancha is caused by avidya. And what is avidya? Avidya is ignorance of my own swarupa. I really do not know who am I. One may say that no, I know. We know ourselves. But really speaking, if we analyze our own self, we will find that it is quite confusing. We experience what we call the waking state, the dream, and the deep sleep, the dreamless sleep. And in these three states, we experience our own self. But what we experience in these three states are quite contradictory to each other. In the waking state, I, through my body and through my senses, I interact with this world. I experience this world. When I say world, I experience Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha in this world, the different types of sound, taste, color, forms, different, not only material inert world, but I also experience so many different types of beings in this world. There are human beings, animals, birds, plants, viruses, bacteria, so many different beings I experience. And when I think about myself, I think of myself as this physical body who has taken birth in this world, who is and who will be also dying. Also, I consider myself as the performer of actions, etc., an enjoyer of the various results. Then I have my dream experiences also. And my dream experience is totally different. I may be in one particular place while awake. I may have certain physical qualities while awake. But when I go to sleep, I just go as though in a different world altogether. I am sleeping on my bed, but in my dream, I may see myself swimming or climbing a tree or running somewhere. So it is totally a different experience altogether. And I understand myself as that particular person in that world. I am totally unaware of the waking world. So I consider myself as a person of a totally different world altogether. So there also I experience my own self and I experience the world in front of me. Then there is another experience which I have that is called deep sleep. My mind also stops functioning and there is what you call, no, the senses also don't function. Everything gets as though withdrawn. And I experience that state called deep sleep, in which I am neither aware of myself nor am aware of the world. But when I wake up, I say I slept very happily. So in my deep sleep, I was totally separated from my physical body as well as my subtle body. And I existed there. And the same entity who was existing in deep sleep, I know is present even now. So I myself was there in deep sleep, but separated from my physical body as well as the mind. So who am I? What is my real nature? That is not known to me. I know I exist, but what is my nature is not known. That is the avidya which we are talking about, which the Shastras are talking about, that I don't know who am I. Again, I am interacting all the time with this world, trying to get joy, trying to get my desires fulfilled in this world. But what exactly is the nature of this world? That also I don't know. So I assume myself to be this body, I assume myself to be the karta, bhokta, jnata, and I assume this world to be different from me. But what my assumption at this time is not proper. It is due to avidya. And this notion which I have that I am a different entity and this world is different from me is called Dvaita Prapancha. And this Dvaita Prapancha is caused due to avidya. Avidya of my own swarupa and avidya about the reality of this world. And this avidya can be eliminated only through the knowledge of that reality called Brahma. So Shankaracharya writes, कि द्वैत प्रपंचस्य अविद्या कृतत्वात् विद्यया तत् उपशमः स्यात् इति ब्रह्म विद्या प्रकाशनाय अस्य आरंभः क्रियते. That the Grantha begins to reveal that Brahma Vidya, because we have ignorance of that Brahma. And only by eliminating that ignorance, we will become free of all our suffering. And that can be done only by gaining that Brahma Vidya. Because when we gain this Brahma Vidya, the Dvaita Prapancha gets eliminated. Bhagavan says कि यत्र हि द्वैतम इव भवति यत्र वा अन्यत् इव स्यात् तत्र अन्यो अन्यत् पश्येत् अन्यो अन्यत् विजानीयात्. That when we have this ignorance, then we have this dvaita, this duality we experience, wherein I see myself as different from this world. I become the experiencer of this world. But when I gain the knowledge of my own self, when I come to understand the reality of myself as Brahma, when I understand the reality of this world as Brahma, then that Dvaita gets eliminated. Bhagavan says, Yatra va asya sarvam atmaiva bhut. When everything becomes Atma, now I am different, the world is different. But when I gain that knowledge, I will recognize myself as that Atma, and I will recognize this world also as Atma only, as my own self. So there will remain no duality, no difference of any kind. It says कि Kena, the Upanishad is quoted. Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya quotes Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. When we realize this oneness, then what will be that expression of such an enlightened person? He says, Yatra va asya sarvam atmaiva bhut tat kena kam pashyet kena kam vijaniya. When everything has become Atma, then by whom what will be seen? By whom what will be experienced? Means there will not remain any seer of this world. nor will there remain a world which is seen by the seer. The duality itself will disappear. In Brahma Sutra also, Shankaracharya ji mentioned the same thing in his Bhashya. He says that all this problem which we have of this samsara is caused by avidya, and that avidya gets eliminated through vidya, by gaining that knowledge of that Brahma. Shankaracharya ji in that Sutra Bhashya, he writes, कि अस्य अनर्थ हेतोः प्रहाणाय आत्मैकत्व विद्या प्रतिपत्तये सर्वे वेदांत आरभ्यन्ते. That to remove the wrong effects, bad effects of avidya and adhyas, all Vedanta granthas, they have one theme only, to reveal Atma Ekatva Vidya, that Atma is one only. And other than Atma, nothing is there. And that knowledge alone is revealed in this Upanishad also. So there are, as I said, 4 prakaranas are there. In the first prakarana, which is called Agama Prakarana, the 12 mantras of the Upanishads are there, along with Gaudapada Acharya's Karikas. Then there is which reveals, actually, the first prakarana reveals the supreme truth by doing Omkara Nirnay, by taking the support of Omkar, the supreme reality, the supreme truth about that Brahma is revealed. The second prakarana, it talks about the Vaitatya prakarana, it is called, the mithyatva, the falseness of this Dvaita prapancha. How this Dvaita prapancha is false, it's mithya. It is wrongly seen and experienced, just as a person wrongly experiences a snake on a rope. Similarly, the Dvaita prapancha is wrongly experienced due to avidya. And when that avidya gets eliminated, this Dvaita prapancha also will get eliminated. So through rational, logical presentation, the Vaitatya, the falseness of this Dvaita prapancha is revealed in the second prakarana. The third prakarana talks about the Advaita, the oneness of this Atma. And the fourth prakarana, which is called Alap Shanti, removes all the doubts and other claims which are presented by other thinkers and philosophies. They are negated, they are refuted logically in the fourth prakarana, and the Advaita is presented. So this Upanishad conveys the reality of myself and the reality of this world, and that is done with the help of the supreme mantra Om in the beginning itself. So it's called Omkara Nirnay. So let us chant the first mantra of this Upanishad. Om iti etad aksharamidam sarvam तस्योपव्याख्यानं भूतं भवत् भविष्यदिति सर्वमोंकार एव यच्चान्यत्रिकालातीतं तदप्योंकार एव. Once more. Om iti tadaksharamidam sarvam tasyopavyakyanam bhutam bhavat bhavishyaditi sarvam omkara eva yaccha anyatrikalatitam tadapyomkara eva. The Upanishad begins by saying that Om iti etat aksharam idam sarvam. Omkar, that akshar Om itself is all this. Idam sarvam, everything, all that we experience as this world is indicated as Om, is revealed by only one name as Om. Om is like a name given to all that is presented as this world. It's called Abhidhana. See, just as we have, let us say, various ornaments are there. Bangles are there, made from gold. Bangles, necklaces, earrings, nose rings, toe rings, so many different types of ornaments. If one has to talk about them, we have to use so many different names, because depending on the various forms, various shapes, there are different names to those ornaments. But we can also use one word itself to convey everything, whatever is there in front. And that name is gold. If we say gold, then it is the name for all the different forms and everything that is presented in front. In the same way, when we talk about this world, it is made up of variety of forms. There are so many different things are there in this world. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, later on, he talks about this world as pranadyaha, starting from prana. In the Prashnopanishad, the world is indicated, or that Supreme Purusha is indicated as of the form of this world, having 16 kalas. The Supreme Purusha, or that Brahma, has 16 kalas, 16 facets. And the 16 facets are the expression or the different contents of this world only. And what are the 16 facets? Briefly, I will mention the prana. Prana is the Hiranyagarbha, who is the first expression of that Brahma as this world. So, sa pranam ashrujata, prana shraddha, then shraddha, faith, then kham means akash, vayu, agni, apaha, prithvi, indriya, all the indriyas, then manaha, then annam, the food, annad viryam, tapaha, mantraha, all the mantras, karma, so various karmas which are performed by various jivas. And due to this karma, they attain the different lokas. So lokaha And in those lokas, they are expressed in different names. So lokeshu cha nama. So the main thing which we have to understand that when we talk about this world, which is expressed from that Brahma, is both the sentient as well as insentient. The material world, as well as all the jivas are also included. Everything what we understand is represented by this term, this world. Slowly the whole topic will get presented. So slowly I'm going step by step. So in Brahma Sutra, the sutras begin by saying that Athato Brahma Jidnyasa, because Brahma Sutra is also the essence of all the Upanishads, conveying that Brahma Vidya only. So it begins with this sutra that let us now begin the discussion on Brahma, inquiry into Brahma. And how is that Brahma presented? What are the lakshanas of Brahma? That Brahma is indicated as Janmadhyasya Yataha. Brahma is that from whom the Janma Adi of this world has taken place. Means from whom the world is born, the world is sustained, and world again merges back. That is that Brahma. Brahma cannot be directly described, cannot be directly defined, but it is indicated with the help of this world, because there is a relationship between this world and that Brahma. So when we say this world, it includes the different objects and different jivas also. In this Sutra Bhashya, Shankaracharya ji defines this world. He says, Asya Jagataha, this Brahma, which is the very cause of this world. What world are you talking about? Shankaracharya ji says, Nama Rupabhyam Vyakrutasya, this world which is divided or which contains various forms and various names. There are variety of forms and variety of names. There are those 24 tattvas, but they themselves are divided into so many different varieties of forms are there. So Nama Rupabhyam Vyakrutasya and Aneka Kartru Bhoktru Sanyuktasya. Also in this world, we have different beings are there. And who are these beings? They are the different doers. They perform actions and they get different results. So we have human beings, animals, birds, plants, and the Shastras talk about the Devatas also and various other beings. So there are Aneka Kartru Bhoktru Sanyuktasya. It is made up of combination of this variety of kartas and bhoktas. See, when we perform actions in this world, we get the results. But there are some results which we get now, which about those actions which we have performed before in the previous lives. So in a very systematic way, the world functions very precisely following a lot of niyams that the jivas, they get the appropriate results also. Aneka kartru bhoktru sanyuktasya. See, when we say jivas, the jivas are also born along with this world. When we say jivas are born, we mean their bodies. The sthula sharir, sukshma sharir, when they are born, we say the jiva is born. When the sthula sharir gets dropped, we say the jiva dies and then he takes up another body. But the jiva is really that self only, which is neither born nor does it die. But with respect to the upadhis, we talk about its birth and its death. So, variety of jivas are there, and the whole world functions in a very systematic way. He says, Shankaracharya writes, ki prati niyata desha kala nimitta kriya phalashrayasya, that there is a niyam in this world of getting, performing actions and getting the results which follow precisely the laws of the place and time and cause and effect, and accordingly we get the results. There are very complex laws are there. And manasa api achintya rachana rupasya, and this world is so complex and so subtle that even the finest mind is unable to understand the complete structure of this world. Achintya, manasa api achintya rachana rupasya, janma sthiti bhangam yatah sarvajnat sarvashaktehe karanat bhavati tad brahma iti vakyasheshaha. So this complex world from where it has emerged is called Brahma. So this world is presenting in front of us as what we call the variety of names and forms, including this body, including my mind. So Pancha Mahabhut, Pancha Tanmatras, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Pranas, Mana Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, so many different varieties are there which make up this world. All this world, mountains, rivers, and the galaxies and trees and the moons and planets, all of them can be conveyed in with one name, and that name is Om. All this we can say, the Shastras say, is Om. And Om is the most subtle and most sublime name and very sublime mantra also. That everything in this world has got some sound. Everything has got different sound. Even in our body, the doctors and all, through the sound only they come to know how the body is functioning. Even they check our nadis and all and come to know the internal mechanism and how the organs and all are functioning. Even some engineers and all, they hear the sound of the machine and can tell how it is functioning, whether it is healthy or there's some defect in it. So everything expresses in some sound, but that sound, universal sound, which is present in the entire creation, is the sound Om. And that Om is also a name of everything which exists in this world. So Om iti etat aksharam idam sarvam. So idam sarvam, this world, is Om only. Om the akshara. Tasyopavyakhyanam, the detailed description of this Om is given further. that bhutam bhavat bhavishyariti sarvam omkara eva, that all that was in the past, the world which was there in the past, the world which is there in the present, and the world which will come in future also, everything is Om only. See, the Shastras, they say that the world in the past was in its causal form only. It was existing as that Brahma only. Sadeva Soumya idam agra asit. Then from that Brahma alone, this world has come into existence. And in future also, the whole world will get dissolved into that Brahma to be born again. So it is a cycle. The world goes into the cyclic process of Utpatti, Sthiti, and Laya. So all that was there in the past is Om. All that is there in present is also Om. And all that will be there in future is also Om only. And further, Yacha Anyat Trikalatitam Tad Api Omkara Eva. So past, present, future is time. Within this time only the world, the play of this world is seen, world is born, world is sustained, world gets dissolved. So all this happens within that time. But there is that Brahma from whom the world emerges, in whom the world is sustained, in whom the world gets dissolved, which is beyond this time, which is not confined to that time. Time is also experience in this world. Time which we can count as days and months and years, as seconds and minutes. Time is also experience in this world. But there is something which is beyond this time, and that is the very supreme cause of this world, that is Brahma. And that Brahma is also indicated by the name Om. So Om is everything. See, the main thing is the Upanishad wants to convey that oneness. And through this Om, it has bound everything in that oneness only. That the entire world, you can understand it as Om. Both the different bodies of the jivas as well as the inert world is Om, and all that is beyond this world is also Om. So Om iti etat aksharam idam sarvam. Now in the second mantra, the Upanishad conveys further. It says, we'll chant the second mantra. Sarvam hyetat brahma, ayam atma brahma, soyam atma chatushpat. Sarvam hyetat brahma, ayam atma brahma, soyam atma chatushpat. All that was indicated as Om, now the Upanishad says, Sarvam hi etat Brahma. All was indicated with the name Om. But this name Om, it belongs to some material. Just like when we say gold, gold is a name which we utter with our mouth, But gold is also the stuff which has gone to become all the ornaments. Gold is a name, and gold is also that stuff which goes to become the ornaments. In the same way, Om is the name, but that of this world. But what is that stuff which has gone to become this world, which is also everything? That is Brahma. Therefore, all that was said about Om, one should understand same thing about this Brahma also. So here it is said, ki sarvam hi etad Brahma. All this is Brahma. And all that was said about Om is Brahma. Means the world which we see in front of us, the variety of names and forms and variety of beings, everything is Brahma. And all that was there in the past, that is also Brahma. All that is there in present is Brahma. And all that is there, that will be there in future is also Brahma. And that which is beyond the time is also Brahma. So all was said about Om is applicable to Brahma. Because Om is the name, and Brahma is that which is named as Om. And there is no difference between Nam and Nami. There is no difference between Abhidhana, Abhidheya, as Bhagavan says. So Abhidhana, Abhidheya, yoho ekatve api Abhidhana pradhanyena nirdeshaha kritaha. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes ki Abhidhana and Abhidheya means the name and that which is the stuff which is named are one only. There is no difference. So first it was indicated, everything was indicated with the name Om. And now everything is indicated with the stuff Om, with the stuff Brahma. Brahma alone is everything. And now, third and the most important thing, which is said here, which is a Mahavakya, ki ayam Atma Brahma. That which is said about Om, that which was conveyed about Brahma, that Brahma is indicated here as this Atma. Ayam Atma Brahma. Shankaracharya writes, ki taccha Brahma paroksha vihitam pratyakshataha visheshena nirdishati ayam Atma Brahma iti. That Brahma which was indicated as paroksha, about whom the knowledge was given that everything is Brahma. All that was in the past is present, future, everything is Brahma. That which is beyond time is Brahma. That Brahma is indicated now here as Atma. And what is Atma? Which Atma? Ayam Atma. Ayam iti chatushpatatvena pravibhajyamanam pratyak atmataya abhinayena nirdishati ayam Atma iti. This Atma. The teacher, as though with the finger, with the hand, it indicates this Atma. Abhinayanena. It indicates this Atma. Means the Atma which is experienced in this body. The self which we experience in this body. Atma means the self which is experienced as I in this body is actually that Brahma. Just now we have seen that how we experience this Atma, means ourself, in the waking, in the dream, and in the deep sleep. We experience ourselves in these three states. And when I am awake, I experience myself. And through the experience of myself, I experience this world also as different from me. But the Upanishad has presented that this body, this mind, as well as this world is all one only. And that is Om, and that is Brahma, and that is again conveyed here as Atma. So I am Atma. So this Atma which is experienced in this body, which is experienced, as I said, in the waking, dream, and deep sleep, which is experienced as the seer, knower, doer of actions in the waking. We experience it in dream, but it gets totally separated from our physical body as well as the Sukshma Sharir. Means in deep sleep, we don't experience the body, nor the Sukshma Sharir, nor this world. We have a very strange and a very subtle experience of ourself in deep sleep, which is very important. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan calls this Atma with another name called Kshetrajna. And this world which is experienced by the Kshetrajna, known by the Kshetrajna, is called Kshetra. So the Kshetra includes not only the 5 elements, but also our physical body. It includes our senses, our antakarana, mana buddhi chitta ahankara. So I, the Kshetrajna, is different from the world, from the body, from the senses, from my mind, intellect, ahankara also. And that Kshetrajna is referred to here as I am Atma. This Atma actually, the Kshetrajna we really don't know. Because when we wake up, we immediately identify with our body and all and consider ourselves as the doer, knower, enjoyer, which is really false understanding about myself. To consider myself as the knower of this world, as I am different and this world is different, is a false understanding about myself, which will be further presented as this Bahishprajna, that I am the knower of this outer world. I consider myself as Bahishprajna. Shankaracharya writes that Bahishprajna swatma vetarikte vishaye prajna yasya sa Bahishprajna. Bahishprajna is one who has got the knowledge of something other than himself. So I say, I know this world, I know the mountain, the river, the trees. So I, the Kshetrajna, I, the innermost self, which is also called Pratyekatma, which is called Kshetrajna in Bhagavad Gita, that Kshetrajna is indicated here as Brahma. Not ahankar as Brahma, not Bahishprajna as Brahma, not Antaprajna as Brahma, but that Kshetrajna is indicated as Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. So all that was said about Om and all that was said about Brahma is applicable to this Atma also. So what is it? all this is Atma only. It was said about Om iti etad aksharamidam sarvam. So we have to understand that all that is there in front of me as this world is really my own self. Everything is myself. All that was in the past is myself. All that will be in future is myself. And all that is beyond time also is myself. And that myself is Brahma. And that myself as Brahma is what is called Turiya. Turiya is not a avastha. Many times people, they use this term Turiya avastha. Jagrat avastha, swapna avastha, sushupti avastha, and Turiya avastha they say. Turiya is not an avastha. Turiya is the name of Atma only. Turiya Atma. To separate it or to convey its uniqueness from the Jagrat Atma, Swapna Atma, Sushupta Atma, this Turiya Atma, which is the real nature of our own self, which is that Brahma. So, Soyam Atma, this is the Atma, Ayam Atma Brahma. So, this Atma is, once we know it properly, then the Dvaita Prapancha will get eliminated. Because to consider this Atma as the knower and this world is known, itself is Dvaita, is duality. To consider that I am the enjoyer and this world is something which I am enjoying, itself is duality. So that duality has to be negated. And that Atma to be understood as everything. Sarvam, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, all that is Brahma. And all this is Atma only. But it is very subtle. This Brahma is very subtle. This Turiya Atma is extremely, extremely subtle. By itself, it cannot be defined. By itself, it cannot be defined. It is indicated with the help of the other avasthas and all. It is indicated. But by itself, it cannot be defined. It can be only described through negation. So it is so subtle. So here the teacher is presenting that Atma in 4 stages, in 4 steps. So he says, Soyam Atma Chatushpa. This Atma is Chatushpa. It has got 4 pada, 4 steps. Here Shankaracharya writes, it's very important. Soyam Omkara Avidheyaha Paraparatvena Vyavastitaha Chatushpat. This Atma is Chatushpat. Karshapanavat na Gauriva iti. 4 padas. 4 pada doesn't mean like 4 legs of a cow. Turiya is like the 4th, but 4th doesn't mean that it is like the legs of the cow, that you say that it is not the first leg, it is not the second leg, it is not the 3rd leg, it is the 4th leg. It is the 4th is not indicated in this way by eliminating the 3. But there is something in the 3 which is included in this 4th. The 3 are not eliminated, the 3 are included in the 4th. Shankaracharya says it is, understand it like a coin, like a 1 rupee coin. We have a 1 rupee coin. This coin, though it is 1, but it contains 4 quarters. It contains 25 paisa, 50 paisa, 75 paisa. All this is there in this coin. If I want to buy something of 25 paisa, I can offer this coin only. Or if I want to buy something of 50 paisa, I can give the same coin. So this contains 25, 50, 75 paisa. But it is actually 1 rupee only. To understand, we can divide it into these various parts, but really it has to be understood as a whole. Similarly, to understand the Turiya Atma, it is presented in 4 steps. And the 4 steps are, it says, Kitrayana Vishwadinam Purva Purva Pravilapanena Turiyasya Pratipattihi iti Karana Sadhanaha Pada Shabdaha. The 4 steps actually which are indicated. The first step is Vaishwanara. Briefly we will see it also. Then second is Taijasa, which is identical with Hiranyagarbha. The third is Pradnya, which is identical with Ishvara. And the fourth is Turiya, which is identical with Brahma. So the Turiya Atma is indicated in 4 steps: Vaishwanara, Taijasa, that is Hiranyagarbha, Pradnya, which is Ishvara, and then Turiya. Shankaracharya says that merging this Vaishwanara into Hiranyagarbha, that is merged into Ishvara, and that is merged and Turiya is understood. He says, Trayanam Vishwadinam Purva Purva Pravilapanena Turiyasya Pratipattihi iti Karana Sadhanaha Pada Shabdaha. So the first 3 pada are like steps. The first step to understand the Turiya Atma is to understand Vaishwanara. Second step is to understand Taijasa or Hiranyagarbha. Third step is to understand Ishvara. And fourth is to understand the Turiya. So the first step is Jagrita. Here it is said, Jagrita Sthano Bahish Pradnya Saptangaha Ekona Vinshati Mukha Sthula Bhok Vaishwanara Prathama Padaha. The first step is indicated as Vaishwanara. And who is Vaishwanara? Vaishwanara is one who is active in Jagrat Avastha. Jagrat is his stan. He functions through in the Jagrat Avastha. Bahish Pradnyaha. I experience the Jagrat Avastha as I am the knower of this outer world. So Bahish Pradnya Swatma Vetarikte Vishaye Pradnya. That other than me, I know something. So I become a knower of the outer world. So I, the waking person who knows the outer world. And this Vaishwanara is Saptanga. He has got 7 limbs. And 7 limbs are the whole world. The 7 limbs contains the entire world. The sun, the moon, the Vayu, Akash, Anna, everything. The entire world is conveyed by the Saptanga. And having 19 mouths. Stula Bhuk is the eater of the Stula object. Gross object is Vaishwanara. So the first step to understand myself as Turiya is to first understand myself as Vaishwanara. This notion that I am a knower and this world is different from me known is false. That Bahish Pratnya is false. That I am a Bahish Pratnya is a false concept, which is then negated later on also. That I am really, I should understand myself as that Vaishvanara. I should understand Vaishvanara, that there is only one entity called Vaishvanara, who includes the entire world of both the knower as well as known. The entire world, along with all the beings, is part of Vaishvanara only. Here the question is asked that you are describing this Atma in 4 stages, and suddenly you have started describing the whole world as the body of this Atma, as the different limbs of this Atma, and all that Atma as Vaishvanara. So this is being said because only if we understand ourselves as Vaishvanara, we will be able to understand the real nature of that Turiya, which includes everything. There, only when one knows this Turiya properly, one understands this whole world as our own self. The scripture also, like Ishavasya Upanishad, Shankaracharya quotes, Ki yastu sarvani bhutani, when that one understands the whole, all beings as my own self. When one understands that the self in me is the self in all, and all are in myself only. So that Sarvatma Bhav can be understood only when we take ourselves as this whole world. If I separate myself from the world, then I will be understanding the philosophy, what you call that, which is conveyed in Sankhya philosophy, which is not proper. In Sankhya philosophy, they understand this Atma is different from this world. The world, they call it Prakriti, and Atma, they call it Purusha. So they consider this Purusha as different from this Prakriti, but they also consider that as many bodies are there, so many Purushas are there. So that is Dvaita only. And with that Dvaita notion, we will not become free of this samsara. So in order to become free of this samsara, we have to understand the oneness of our body with the entire creation, and oneness of our self with that Supreme Brahma. Therefore, the first step is to comprehend ourselves as Vaishvanara. The second step is to comprehend ourselves as Hiranyagarbha, as the Taijasa. The third step is to understand ourselves as Pradnya, as that Ishvara. And when we take these 3 steps, we will comprehend ourselves as that Turiya Atma. It is, we have a very short, limited time, so I will briefly conclude here. So finally, the Upanishad in the 7th mantra conveys the nature, it indicates that Turiya Atma, that is my own self. And what is that Turiya Atma? Na anta pradnyam, na bahish pradnyam, na ubhayata pradnyam, na pradnyana ganam, na pradnyam, na apradnyam. Turiya Atma is that which is not bahish pradnya. So I, the knower of the outer world, is a false concept. That is not true. That is like seeing a snake on a rope. I am the seer of my dream is also false, because wherever I become the knower and something other than me is known, then the Dvaita is there. So the concept that the misunderstanding that I am the knower and the world is known is caused by ignorance, which is negated here. So I am neither the knower, nor doer, nor enjoyer. I am the Turiya Atma, which by itself is very subtle, so it cannot be seen. Adrishtam, it cannot be seen through the senses. Avyavaharyam, one cannot interact with it. There cannot be any vyavahar with the Turiya Atma. Agrahyam, it cannot be grasped through the senses nor by any other means. Alakshanam, it cannot be, there are no lakshanas in that Turiya Atma. Achintyam, it cannot be thought of, it cannot be conceptualized, it cannot be defined. Avapadeshyam, it cannot be taught, it cannot be instructed, one cannot indicate it. So how can we know it? Ekatma pratyaya saram. We can take support of that Atma pratyaya. See, we have this understanding, we have this experience of my own self in the waking, in the dream, in deep sleep. It remains same. The body's changed, the avasthas changed, everything changed, but the experience that I myself was in deep sleep, I myself was dreaming, I myself am now awake, that I is same. There is a I is like a sutra which ties all the experiences, everything together. So taking the support of this I, we can meditate, contemplate, and realize ourselves as that Turiya Atma. So Ekatma Pratyasaram, Prapancha Upashamam. In that Turiya Atma, there is no Prapancha, means there is no Dvaita Prapancha. There is no duality of I, the knower, different from this world which is known. Everything has become myself. Everything is myself. Not that the world is not there, but world is myself. Everything is myself. Prapancha Upashamam. Therefore, Shantam is total peace. Shivam, it is most auspicious. Advaitam, it is one without a second. Chaturtham Manyante, this Atma is indicated here as Chaturtham, as fourth. So Vaishvanara is as first, Taijasa or Hiranyagarbha is second, Pradnya or Ishvara is third, and this is fourth. The first is merged into second, second merges into third, and this is fourth. Just like in a coin, the 25 paisa merges into 50 paisa, 50 paisa merges into 75 paisa, and finally we get 1 rupee. Or just like in Omkar, A merges into U, U merges into Ma, and then there is that Omkar. A matra Om without any matras, that Omkar. So Chaturtham Manyante, this is the Turiya Atma. Sa Atma Sa Vidneyaha. This is the Atma which we have to realize, we have to recognize. So briefly, actually, in a very short time, I conveyed the message of this Upanishad. Though if we really want to go deeper into it, it will require a lot of hours to contemplate and talk about it. So with that, I will conclude my talk. If you have any questions, you may ask. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji, for that simplified version of a few mantras from Mandukya Upanishad. It was really very illuminating. Thank you. There are 2 questions. One is that in the talk you referred 24 tattvas. The viewer wants to understand what are those 24 tattvas.
Okay. These 24 tattvas are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter. Bhagavan talks about it in Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Kamano Buddhirevacha. No, not that. I think another mantra. Let me check. Mahabhutanya Hankaraha Buddhiravyakta So this 24 tattvas actually are the Pancha Mahabhut. Then the Pancha Tanmatras, which expresses as Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. Then the Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, and Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankar. This becomes 24 tattvas.
The second question is, what is the concept of beyond time?
Beyond time. See, we, when we are awake, we are experiencing this time as past, present, future. And this time is experienced with the help of our mind only. When we see movements in the objects of this world, we experience time. Like we see the moment of our earth and the moon and all, we experience time in terms of seconds and minutes and all. In Sanskrit, it's called krama samvit, experience of the sequence of events. But when we are, for example, when we are asleep, there is nothing happening there. There is no event happening. There is no what you call nothing happening, no experience of anything. So that is like beyond time only. That is, there is no concept of time there. We are not experiencing any time. Then again, when we wake up, we start experiencing time. So many times we go to sleep and we are totally unaware of our time. So experience of time is the time which is manifest, and that which is unmanifest is what is called the beyond time.
Thank you, Swamiji. I think those are only two questions, and we are almost done with the time also. It was really a very good talk, and a simplified version of all these 7-8 mantras from the Mandukya Upanishad. Thank you very much.
I will conclude with a prayer.
Yes.
Okay. Om. 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 Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Viewers, in the evening, we have got another good talk from Dr. Ravi Shankar Gundlapalli on lessons from Adi Shankara's life for modern day entrepreneurs and youth. Please join us. Thank you.